Hello, Ami Kinder and Ami Kinder enthusiasts. I'm Margaret, and today's Wednesday, again. Lucky you, you get to see me looking rather like I recently got home and put a t-shirt and a sweatshirt on, which is what I did. So, I'm just gonna look terrible, but that's okay. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about school, and I thought that would be really appropriate because today I had to make a referat, or presentation, to my history class. And the only thing is I didn't actually have to make it. So let's go back in time like 4 months and figure out how we got to this point. I started school after having 2 weeks of German lessons. It was a little bit intimidating because I'd been learning German for 2 weeks and all of my classmates had been learning German for 15, 16, 17 years. I really didn't know what I was doing about 99% of the time. The 1% is the part where I would be in math class and there would be numbers on the board and I could write them down. Other than that, it was like starting in a new school where you don't speak the language, which is exactly what I was doing. Yeah, so starting in a new school is intimidating for a couple of reasons. I remember when I went to a new school in 4th grade and I was like, oh my god, the kids are gonna know how to do long division. I didn't even know what long division meant. I just knew it was a kind of division that was long and sounded intimidating. You really never know what you're getting yourself into. Probably nothing good. Just kidding. I followed this one girl around like a lost puppy because we had most of our classes together. So she would sort of be like to every teacher, yeah, this is Maggie. She's an exchange student from New York and she's going to be here for 9 months or whatever it was at that point. And I would listen to this and I would understand my name, the word exchange, and the number 9, and just kind of smile and do the little exchange student nod. Yep, I know exactly. Have no idea what you're talking about. Yep. We would have those breaks in between the periods that I think Lydia talked about, and I would find a group of people, kind of stand behind them until one of them noticed that I was there and said, oh, hi Maggie, and included me in the little circle. And then I would continue to stand there and sort of be like gradually pushed out of it because I wasn't saying anything, because I understood, like, if someone said a day of the week, then I understood that. That was always good, and that was pretty much it. That was the first, probably, like, month of school. I did have my English class. I was already, like, a year and a half ahead of my classmates in math. For example, in English, the word derivative is Ableitung in German. When the teacher's writing on the board and he's like, F with a little apostrophe equals, and he's like, this is an Ableitungsfunktion, then you know that's the first derivative, and you can kind of work it out from there. I sort of wrote off all of the language-heavy classes for the first couple of months. I was like, German, I'm never going to be able to handle. Philosophy is just a lost cause. And as it has turned out, philosophy is my favorite class. We've been doing all this, like, ethics stuff, and it's so interesting to hear the different opinions of the people in the class, and very, very satisfying to be able to understand them most of the time, some of the time. Today I actually, for the second time, volunteered my own opinion, which is always terrifying, because when you're talking about these, like, really sensitive subjects that people have strong feelings about, and there's always that chance that you might say something that comes out totally wrong, even when you're speaking in your own language. Then you're translating everything into German, and it's like, I might have just said that if my mother killed herself, I would be happy about it, and that, Mom, I love you, don't kill yourself, please. So I just remembered I was supposed to be talking about history. Well, you know those teachers who no one's really sure if they have anything interesting to say or not, because the teacher is just totally incapable of commanding the attention of the room for more than 2 seconds at a time? That's my history class. It's basically everyone talking to each other all the time. I sit in the front row pretty much by myself, so I try to pay attention, but it's always hard to pay attention, to really understand what someone's saying when there's all of this background noise going on, and it's all in German. So, none of us contribute anything. Last week, my teacher sort of said, yeah, Maggie, I really haven't been hearing very much from you, and I'm not sure what grade to give you, so can you please do a presentation for the class next week? Hello? You haven't heard anything from anyone else either. Why are you picking on me? I'm the foreigner. That's not nice. He asked me to do a presentation on the Declaration of Independence. the Declaration of Independence in German is die Unabhängigkeitserklärung. Unabhängigkeitserklärung. Maybe that's right. I mostly get laughed at when I try to say it. Yeah, but then I got there today. He totally forgot that he'd asked me to do it, and then at the end of the class I was like, hey man, my presentation, and he was like, oh yeah, well we kind of already talked about that, so why don't you just give it to me and I'll read it. So not to imply that my videos are normally or will normally be fantastic, but today's extra sucky because I got home really late relatively, and the reason I got home late was because I went to band practice with some of my friends, which was really, really fun, and maybe I'll talk about it next week. Actually, next week I have something else to talk about. You'll just have to wait and see. I had a really good day today, even though I've been complaining about history. I love my philosophy class, and I like the people here, and I am in a good mood, even though I'm exhausted. And I'm gonna go to bed now. So, bis dann.